The venue and location really sets the scene for the wedding. It influences so many important factors, such as your budget, the style, the look, how many guests you can have, and the overall feel. So it's important to get this decision right. So today we have John from Lightspace. Lightspace is a cool urban warehouse venue located in Fortitude Valley, home to many of our weddings. And we love it because it's a versatile space and, as you can see, a blank canvas, and we can create so many different and unique weddings here. So we thought we would ask John today some of the questions that our couples should be thinking about when choosing their venue. So what are the important questions that couples should be asking their venue coordinator or manager on their site visits to really determine if this is the right venue for them?
Well, I guess a really important thing is what sort of facilities come with the venue, in particular furniture and AV. I mean, there can be huge costs involved if you need to hire in a lot of those items. Does the venue come with glassware, crockery, knives, forks, all of those things? I mean, they sound really basic, but some venues won't have those. When we first started out, we didn't have a lot of furniture in our space, but since then we've added a lot of different items over time, and now we can really hold any sort of wedding or event. We have a full complement of furniture, and we send out quite a comprehensive furniture and AV inventory to all of our couples, so they know what's there for them to use. It's really if they're going for a different look that they need to hire something else in than the furniture we provide. And there are some amazing hire and styling companies out there, and they can provide any look you want, of course, but it can add up in the cost stakes. So best to ask a venue what comes with the space before booking.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And then on the point of suppliers, so some suppliers may charge like a Sunday or a Saturday surcharge. So it is important for us to know upfront when can we access the building, and also when do we have to, as we call it, bump out as well. So what are your guidelines for that?
Well, obviously a wedding can have a huge amount of setup involved with it, so they do need a lot of bump-in time. Some venues have very strict and very tight turnaround times, especially if they're holding different ceremonies before a reception in their venue. We only have one wedding per day in our space, so if you hire the space, you will get the day to set up your wedding and to hold the ceremony here as well. And the bump out time, generally we try to bump out the next day because we're in a bit of a residential area around here, and we don't like to disturb our neighbours so much with people loading trucks and that sort of thing. So we often get the suppliers to come back the next day to collect their items, and the bride and groom as well. They may have gifts, they may have personal decorations they've brought into the space as well. So it's not easy to take that stuff home at the end of the night, when everyone's had a few drinks, so we get everyone to come back the next day.
And then how about, restrictions? So, a lot of the times our clients or our couples might have something, they want confetti bombs going off at their ceremony, or they want these beautiful candles, open flame kind of candlesticks on their tables. So what sort of restrictions does Lightspace have that our couples should be aware of?
Yeah, well, fire is obviously really important in a venue to consider that, and the safety aspect of fire. We do allow candles in the space as long as they're covered by a glass vessel, but outside of that we don't allow any flame at all. People want to have sparklers for their wedding. We only allow that outside the internal space of the venue. It's just too big a risk to have at your wedding. With regard to confetti, we don't allow confetti bombs either, because although they're very exciting and create a dramatic effect, there's so much cleaning up involved with confetti. It's crazy, and we often find little bits of confetti for weeks afterwards. So unfortunately, we don't allow confetti any longer at Lightspace.
Yeah, I think you need to respect also the rules of the venue, and if you're upfront with them at the beginning and say, we really want to have these elements and they're just not allowed, then maybe that venue's not for you.
Yeah, well, the venue obviously has things that need to be taken care of as well that won't damage the venue. You're not going to screw holes into the venue when you're putting up installations and that sort of thing, or you're not going to drag heavy items across the floor that's going to scratch the floor. or dogs aren't going to walk past your camera.
Another important question I think couples should ask is, what is the role of a venue coordinator? If you could talk us through, what your venue coordinator is responsible for.
Yeah. So the venue coordinator at Lightspace is responsible for all of the contact leading up to the wedding, all of the venue items, where we're going to place our furniture, the running of the event as well, and just making sure that everything that sort of we need as a venue, and obviously the couple needs to make it an amazing day, happens. The planner, it's fantastic to have a planner and a stylist on board. I mean, obviously when white+white's involved, it's a different level of amazing for the weddings here. But the venue coordinator really is primarily looking after the venue things first, and may not be dealing with all of different styling items that you want to bring in from different suppliers and that sort of thing. We try to work with the same suppliers here all the time so that they really know the space, and there's not that sort of confusion about a new supplier coming in and what they're going to do in the venue. So that really comes down to having a fantastic list of suppliers as well, which we do have here at Lightspace.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge of venues, and I think we've raised some really important questions that our couples should ask when making their decision, because as I mentioned before, it's a massive decision and affects so many other influences. So thank you so much for joining us.